How you doing? It's Bill Stage, and I am with Brian Gramenz from Shawn's Auto Service. How are you today, Brian?
Great. Yourself, sir?
I'm doing really good. So we want to kind of get a little behind the scenes on what Shawn's Auto Service is, why you do what you do, who you help, and all of that kind of stuff, a little behind the business. But first, I just kind of wanted to get a once over on what you guys are doing with the new parameters with the COVID-19.
As of what we're doing right now, when a customer brings a car into our shop, I start off by disinfecting the keys, and then I go in and clean the cars for my employees. And we're going through a lot of rubber gloves, Bill, making sure that my guys aren't touching anything they don't need to, including our parts vendors. We are trying to distance everything as great as we can. I'm greeting the drivers at the door. I'm taking care of the paperwork. And in our industry, I would have to say they're doing a great job on the parts vending side. Their employees are actually taking precautions themselves, wearing masks, wearing gloves. Some places are having the parts dropped off right outside my door, and we don't have to sign anything currently right now on any paperwork.
Nice. Yeah, and this is such a weird time for everybody, but especially in the auto service business where a handshake is just how you greet people day in and day out, and to have that kind of changed up is I'm sure very strange.
Yeah, it is. The other thing that's really strange too is even on our oil changes, we have to do drop-offs.
Mm.
Um, I I don't I don't want anybody to get infected, nor do I want to infect anybody else. Now I'm perfectly healthy. We are checking our employees. Luckily, one of my lead tech, Drew, his wife is a nurse,
Mm.
so she's telling us how to check ourselves, just to be able to
Oh,
stay clean, check our temperatures, and do all that stuff for people.
yeah.
Um, Sorry, I have a parts guy to show up.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. I'll
Okay.
probably have a kid knock on my door here pretty soon, so no biggie.
It's all good. Um, Basically, you know, we're trying to do everything that we possibly can, and get everything handled the cleanest, most efficient way that we can
Mhm.
for our customers, so that they feel comfortable coming in our door.
Yeah. And it is, when people talk about essential employees and an essential service, I mean, you guys are providing the services for those essential employees. If somebody's car is not working, then they're not able to go to work and provide the service that they need. Tell us a little bit about what you guys do there and the different kind of vehicles you service over there at Shawn's Auto Service.
We pretty much handle most everything. There are some imports that we don't do, um, but basically what's going on down here is everything from an oil change all the way up to engine overhauls. We just replaced an engine in an F-150. It happened to be a warranty through Jasper Engines. One of the motors, it failed on us, unfortunately. But we pretty much can handle everything. I do have a good source of people out here in the community that are great business owners that I actually trust. If it's something that I can't handle for the customer, I steer it to them, so that they're not taken advantage of, and I know that they're going to get treated the same as they would if they came into my shop.
Right. And that's a really cool thing with the automotive community. If somebody is specializing and does it on a more regular basis than you, I would imagine that's something you would want to take advantage of as a business owner.
Yeah, my customers are, they're the heart of our business. Let's just face it. If I don't have them, I'm not going to be here. And the last thing I want to do is give them bad information or send them to a bad shop. We don't do trainings in houses, but I have a training shop that I trust. I've known the owner since I was 12 years old. And then I have a shop that we outsource our alignments to. They are somebody I can trust, know that they're not going to damage the car, that the car is going to get taken care of properly right off the bat. Now we take care of the alignment side of it on our own, with our customers, but it's stuff like that. I think that's why customers and I get along so well. I treat them like their family. It's not just a punch in and punch out scenario. I have lots of customers that I know their children. Between my stepdad and myself, I've known people for over 18 years in the
Right.
shop. We're all a family down here, and I will tell you, the Quad Cities has got a lot of great people in it.
Yeah. Brian, let's go back to when this whole thing got started. Tell me a little bit about Shawn.
Shawn Scott was my stepdad. Well, is my stepdad. Uh, he started this business in 1990, February 5th to be exact. So we just celebrated 30 years
Mm.
of business. He actually started off. He was a Scott Community College graduate. There used to be a gas station called Chateau Knoll that I believe was the U-Haul, or is currently a U-Haul place in Bettendorf off Spruce Hills.
Okay.
His manager boss at the time basically told him he was too smart and too good to be working for somebody else, and suggested that he opens up his shop. And the first shop that he opened up was in a local muffler shop. He rented one bay,
Mhm.
and then he went on his own and got his own two-bay building. And then before he passed away, we had a six-bay shop, and I couldn't afford that building. I'm going to be honest with you. It was 6,000 square feet. We were talking a lot of money, and I took over the business when I did, and we moved to the current location that we're at.
Gotcha.
My father, unfortunately, was diagnosed with brain cancer, and he fought it for 9 years.
Mm.
He ended up being, after his second brain surgery, was diagnosed, pretty much couldn't do anything for him. He was losing his eyesight, and unfortunately, it went to the frontal lobe. So it was memory loss, and it was also the creativity side of his mind was, our creative side of our mind is our emotions.
Yeah.
Smiling, laughing, understanding things. It took a toll on that. And in 2006, I was basically the manager,
Mm.
and we were actually going to close the doors. And my father started writing things down on a notepad, and one day he asked me to come to the house, and wanted to have a sit down with my wife. And he wanted me to take on his shop, and thought that I could handle it and be able to control everything, because he watched me manage it. My mom was explaining to him how we were doing financially. And that's kind of how my wife Sarah and I ended up purchasing the shop.
Mm.
I ended up buying the shop in March of 2007. My wife and I are owners of the business. It's actually female owned. My wife owns majority ownership of the company.
Mm-hmm.
We drive our business the same as what my dad did. Everybody mattered down here, and he instilled a lot of great ideas and business tactics, and understanding the community and what they need. I miss him every day. I'm not gonna lie. And he was a better diagnostics tech than me. He was computer wise and stuff. He was a whiz at it. Me, I was the grunt. I do all the heavy work. But
Yeah.
I was very honored that my father sat down, and he had thought everything out and wrote it all down. And he believed in me. And I was 29 years old. And I'm going to be honest with you, I was a kid. I didn't know that I could handle it, but he encouraged my wife and I to take on the business, and we've been able to grow it quite well, I believe, and I think he'd be happy with us.
Yeah, that's beautiful, man. Thanks for sharing that. That's awesome. So
And
as a family owned business, and you said your wife is a part of that as well. Have you run into any hurdles? Do you have successes specifically about the family owned businesses to be able to I guess the question is, when were you able to finally go, I think I've got this. I think I can do this.
Honestly, I want to say it was 3 years ago. We've
Mhm.
struggled up to 3 years. When you're a technician, your mindset's completely different than being a business owner.
Yeah.
And I didn't give up the reins of turning wrenches on a daily basis up until maybe 4 years ago. Um, I'm a A-type personality. I want to handle it all on my own kind of thing.
Hmm.
And honestly, it hurt my business.
Yeah.
I needed to talk to my customers, and I needed to explain things and be there for them in a different way than always working on their cars.
Hmm.
And that's when I started finding good help. I got my A-level tech that I have right now. I've had him here currently working with us for 7 years.
Mm.
He's kind of the one that pushed me into saying, "Hey, you gotta take a step back, and you gotta, be the guy that everybody needs to talk to."
Right.
Um, Hurdle wise, it's always been the economy. We're not a big chain store.
Hmm.
We're family owned and operated, one location, always been located in Bettendorf, and our name is well known and we're branded. But people think of the big places and dealerships, and they steer there. So
Hmm.
as business goes, it fluctuates with the economy as well. So I would have to say just that would be a general hurdle itself, not along with being young when I took it over.
Sure. Now, when your stepdad first opened it, do you have any idea how he started getting customers, and how has that changed through the years?
It was always word of mouth. My Shawn didn't believe in advertising, to be honest with you, unless it was AM radio. He swore that AM talk radio was the place to go.
Yeah.
Um, it started off with his friends. He actually had four roommates that he lived with, from what I understand, and he worked on all their stuff. And then it just kind of progressed from there.
Yeah.
He literally worked for 2 years without even a lift. The guy worked on the ground when he stopped renting the first bay out of the muffler shop,
Hmm.
and went completely on his own. From what I understand, he was a jack and floor stand guy. That guy would pull motors, trains, everything, just like some guy working out of the garage.
Right.
And it he believed in people, and I think that's where how he made it work.
Hmm.
He always looked inside the box, is what I said. And every generation looks at things different. I've in my tech Drew, he's almost 14 years younger than me, so he looks at things in life different. And sometimes I catch myself thinking of some of the stuff he tells me to do, or what we should have as an idea. I'm
Hmm.
thinking like Shawn was when I was talking to him, going, "You're nuts. Just what works works," but it's not always true.
Yeah.
We did, my wife and I did, and I'm proud of this, and it's because of the teams that we had and the thought process. But the first full year that we moved in the current location we're at now, we did $100,000 more in sales in 6 months. I moved
Mm.
into the current location we're at now June 2nd of 2008, and it was all about location and changing my mindset of the business is what I did notice there.
Yeah.
Um, we, I will tell you, advertising on the internet and I do a little advertising with you guys
Hmm.
and some other places, uh, is where it's at. It's not paper anymore. I will tell you, and that was a
Yeah.
hard thing for me to understand too, Bill.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and you talk about the younger generation pushes the older generation. I think that's something that has happened since the dawn of time. You kind of we get stuck in our ways, and you need that new, fresh breath of air to push you forward and lean into the next wave. What do you consider the next wave to be? Do you have anything? Your sights on anything, a next level up, so to speak, that you're looking at, and near future, distant future?
Currently, what we're looking into is what they call as video diagnostics.
Mm.
Um, Everybody's wanting everything done through the internet. Basically, it's hard to get a hold of somebody nowadays via phone or something like that. So the technology is advancing with the scanners and the equipment that we have, where we'll be able to take pictures of the customer's car, send them the information that we find on it, and then do explanations via email, send it to their phone, things like that. That's
Mhm.
one thing that we are looking at stepping up. If we're able to with the city of Bettendorf, we're also looking at possibly adding on another section of our shop and trying to provide a few other odds and ends for the customers, basically to make it more of a one-stop shop instead of a couple things having to go here or there. Drew does lead me into some of the ideas that we have, and he's opened it up. The only thing that I'm nervous about getting into, to be honest with you, is any of the battery operated cars, the eco-friendly cars. Not that I don't like them.
Mhm.
There's a lot that I don't know about them.
Yeah.
The dealerships are kind of hiding that info from us still.
Right. So, we've got a couple more questions here, Brian. What do you have any favorite advice that you've been given along the way that or life hack or anything that you would like to pass along? What's your favorite?
Well, I was a blessed man. Both my stepdad Shawn and then my biological father, both were shop owners, and they were both technicians. I took a lot away from both of them, but the biggest thing that both of them always told me, Bill, was be honest and upfront, leave a little for seed, and be fair with your prices. Now, I never understood what leave a little for seed meant for many years. Um, you hear horror stories from customers coming in and they get $1,000, $1,500 repair bills,
Hmm.
and it's because the shop thinks they need to get every last thing. We look at customers' cars the way that I was taught by both my dads. You look at the car and you evaluate it from your customer to your customer for the standpoint. Um, what I mean by that is rank things from worst case scenario that's a severe problem we need to take care of, all the way to something let's keep an eye on it. We rank things from 1 to 5 is what I'm basically saying.
Mm,
1 is keep an eye on it. 5 is it's you need to get it repaired now. It's a safety issue, and we explain the situation.
right.
I don't necessarily know if that's a life hack, but that would be what I would take away in my business. Unfortunately, we have in the industry a bad name, and it's because there's been, let's just face it, unethical shop owners that look out for the dollar instead of looking out for the customer.
Right. Well, I think you change people's opinion and mindset around that by just doing, and I appreciate what you're doing over there, Brian.
Yeah, I greatly appreciate you giving me a call. Just to let you know too, just to let anybody know, one thing that we are doing, it was something that didn't pop in my head. You asked about the COVID-19 thing. One way that we're
Hmm.
reacting to it. Um, when I said we have a great community, I mean it. We're not as busy as we normally are, but I'm a blessed man for what we have.
Hmm.
We are currently, helping the community too. Oh, I forgot to mention to you, any frontliners that are out there, we're giving a 10% off of parts, 10% off of labor. That's an overall 20% discount before taxes,
Nice.
excluding oil changes. Now, I'm not only just doing it for the frontliners. Everybody's important. This community is what made my father and I able to be around for 30 years. We're giving 10% discount off of brake jobs, and we're giving a 15% discount, and these are parts and labor,
Hmm.
on just for the general public. There are people that need to get around, and their full-time jobs have been cut down to 20, 30 hours a week or whatever. We're here to help everybody. My community is like a family to me. Like I said, with my customers are coming. I'm sorry I did forget to bring that up when you asked how we were
No,
combating
that's
the
okay. I
Thanksgiving.
appreciate
You know,
it.
but uh, just like I said, Bill, you guys probably know it better than us because you get to see the public a lot more than I do.
Mm,
But the Quad Cities, we're gonna hurt in this. Everybody in the United States is, but the backing of what the community is doing for people. is I think phenomenal for what I've seen. Just in general, I got lots of friends and family that own places and or managers of places, and I'm hearing things, and it's great to see what people are doing in the community.
Yeah, when times like these happen, we definitely see the best of people. That's for sure, and that's what I like to focus on as well. So, last question,
Yeah.
Brian. If you could put somebody else in the hot seat right now where you're at on this program, is there anybody out there, a business owner that has a good story that needs some extra love and attention these days?
Yes, it would be Bridgeway Auto Parts, Billy over there. He's a great friend of mine. There's a lot of family history there, and they just did a brand new grand reopening with having to change some stuff over with the family. I'm trying to drive any business I can to that guy. He's helped me out plenty of times in my life. I've known him since I was wee little. My grandfather used to go in there when he owned a body shop. So
And what was his name?
his name is Bill from Bridgeway Auto Parts over in Moline.
Perfect, perfect. Well, I really appreciate it you taking the time out and talking with me, Brian.
Hey, no problem. And I'm sorry if I drawn it out a little bit, but
Oh,
you
no,
know,
no, you're fine. Real quick, where can people get a hold of you? Do you have a website, a Facebook, a phone number? What's the best
yeah,
way for people to reach Shawn's Auto Service?
you can get us on Facebook at any time and give us a call at the shop at 563-355-0367. We're located at 2710 State Street in Bettendorf.
Sounds good. Brian, you take care, okay?
Yeah, you too.
Thank you
I
much.
appreciate you, Bill.